Hello and welcome. My name is Kapezo Ngere and we are going to study genetics. Genetics is the study of inheritance and variation. So in this definition of what genetics is, we have the term inheritance and we have the term variation. And in this topic, we're going to understand what the meaning of inheritance is and what the meaning of variation is too. Now, in genetics, we'll study characteristics or traits that are inherited by organisms from their parents and the variations in these characteristics. Now let's look at the concepts of genetics. And during reproduction in living organisms, the offsprings that are produced by parents resemble them. Example, this mother will produce an ovum while this father produces a sperm cell. And when these two gametes fuse during fertilization, they'll give rise to a zygote that develops into a baby. And this baby has features or characteristics that are similar to their parents, and at the same time, it has some differences in characteristics from its parents. This similarity is due to the inheritance of parental characteristics. Example, this young girl will grow up, and when she becomes a mother, she will give rise to a baby girl that has characteristics that are similar to its mother. And this is because this child has inherited the mother's characteristics. Now, the inherited characteristics in animals include body weight, body height, the hairy ears, shape of the face and nose, the skin color, the hairline that can either be a frontal or straight hairline or a widow's peak, the mid-digital hair, the color of the eyes that can either be brown or blue or any others, the ability to roll the tongue, so that we end up with some individuals that are able to roll their tongue and others not, the fingerprints, where some individuals have a hole, others loop, others double loop, and others even arc, the shape of the ears, and whether they have a loop that hangs free or a ear loop that is tied or attached. The inherited characteristics in plants include the color of the flowers. They're going to be violet, white, pink, and even purple. The height of the plants, where some organisms grow tall, others are short. The type and shape and size of leaves, the type of roots, the type and shape of fruits, among others. These traits that are passed on from parents to their offsprings are referred to as inheritable characteristics. The characteristics like knowledge, however, are obtained from study and large muscles from bodybuilding, and these characteristics are not heritable but are acquired characteristics. However, members of the same family may differ in their appearance of the face, the shape of their nose, skin color, and other features due to the different combinations of hereditary factors that each of them acquires from two parents, female and male. Now, the characteristics in offsprings also show slight differences from those of their parents. For example, these two parent chicken will mate, and the female will lay eggs, brood the eggs, and then these eggs will hatch into chicks, and these chicks are of different forms. The chicks are different from one another, and different from their parents. Now, this is because of the inheritance of different forms of hereditary factors by these offsprings. Now, the possession of characteristics by individuals that are different from those of parents, other siblings, and other members of the same species is referred to as variation. Apart from these inherited characteristics, the environment will also affect the characteristics that are expressed in organisms. For example, in daily animals, milk yield is determined by a gene that is responsible for their high milk production. Now, so their genetic makeup allows them to produce high quantities of milk. However, there are other factors apart from their genetic makeup that influence their levels of production. These factors include the weather, that sometimes, because of weather, an animal that has a gene for high milk production will end up producing very little, and sometimes when the weather allows or is suitable, they produce high levels of milk. Another factor that determines milk production is food. We know that production of milk or milk secretion is influenced by the type of feeds the animals are given. So food will influence the expression of this gene for high milk production. So the interaction between these other factors together with the genetic makeup of these animals will end up expressing high milk production in the daily animals. So these other factors that interact with the gene for high milk production so that the animals end up being high producers are referred to as environmental factors. So the interaction between environmental factors with the gene for high milk production will give us dairy animals that are high yielding.